Hey everybody, this is American Nana. I hope you're all doing well. Um, it's after Thanksgiving, so for those of you that celebrate, I hope you have wonderful, wonderful time with your families. And although we reflect and thank God often, it's nice to have a day set aside just to be thankful, to just breathe, just enjoy life, to see it with our families. So I hope those of you were able to do that. However, the day was that you wanted, I hope that's what you got. I've been a little under the weather, so I just haven't done any videos. I've tried, but who was it's the coughing just kept on coming. So today I'm going to talk about, I'm going to share Tiffany Lucas. Actually, the story is about her two children, Maurice Baker Jr. and Jaden Howard. Maurice was 6, Jaden was 9. No one will ever know why, but apparently their mother shot them. I believe both were shot in the head, and they were in bed. So I'm going to share with you some of the victim impact statements along with the sentencing and probably give you my opinion here and there. There's been another uh, video that's been released. I may share portions of it. I'm not sure if it's I don't know. I may share it though. My heart goes out to the families. Two precious little boys, their lives just snuffed out by their mother. Is this becoming just more and more of what there is? Uh, And people want to blame drugs, mental illness. You know, the thing about this person is this Tiffany. Apparently, there had been numerous times that numerous family members had called in CPS. I don't know what you call it there. In Texas, we call it CPS, Child Protective Services. Ours used to be state agency. Sadly, I've heard ours went private, which is scary because that's what Florida was, and heaven only knows other places as well. So that in itself is scary. But Tiffany claimed the killings were an accident and told the officers that she had been manipulated by social media into committing the crimes, according to some reports. Um, there's a detective, Richard Beahl, testified that when officers arrived, Lucas walked out of her home and collapsed on the driveway of her neighbor's home. Bill found one of the neighbors trying to help Lucas in the driveway, and the other neighbor, they were tending to the children inside the house. The one that was inside the house tending to the children did claim the mother was responsible for their deaths. I'm assuming that means she told him she shot her sons. Anyway, I don't know if very much had gotten out about this or not, but we need to find out, folks. And I believe you can write into parole boards Time's coming around. Susan Smith showed us that. I never thought in my lifetime that would happen. I was middle-aged, I guess, when she killed her boys. She's already been up for parole. I hope we can write in because I'm gonna for the next time. That's just for as long. These mothers should not get out. I'm sorry, whatever reasoning we want to give. No. And I think if the courts stop giving any leniency and letting them out early, maybe they'll start giving the children to family members or doing something besides taking a child's life. But in case you missed it, I thought that we would share it here. I will tell you, it is a heartbreaking case. I don't usually do ones with children because they are painful. I can't stand for children to suffer. So, and my heart breaks for the families. It really does. I am so, so sorry. So with that, let's see what was done. All right. So I am now going to share the video that I watched. The judge is pretty quiet during most of it.
Commonwealth versus Tiffanie Lucas. This is case number 23 CR 404. The record will reflect that the Commonwealth appears today with the Honorable Bailey Taylor, the Honorable Ann McAfee. The defendant appears today with the Honorable Richard Beahl, the Honorable Jonathan Villavicencio. The matter is before the court today for sentencing. Mr. Taylor, would the Commonwealth like to make any opening statement?
Your Honor, the Commonwealth waives an opening statement.
Would the defense like to make an opening statement?
Your Honor, we would also waive opening.
Mr. Taylor, who would the Commonwealth call?
The Commonwealth would call Richard Beahl.
Mr. Beahl or Detective Beahl, sir, would you come around here to the witness box? Watch your step as you step into the witness box. When inside,
I believe he's the
please go to front
detective.
of the chair, raise your right hand, sir. Do you swear or affirm the testimony which you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you, sir. Please be seated, make yourself comfortable. Pull up that black microphone and speak loudly when questioned. Mr. Taylor,
Yeah,
whenever
he's
you
the
are seated and you are
detective.
ready, you may proceed.
Mr. Beahl, state your current name and occupation for the record, please.
My name is Richard Beahl. I'm currently a police officer for the Jefferson County Public Schools.
And what was your occupation on November 8th of 2023?
I was employed by the Bullitt County Sheriff's Office, assigned to the detective division.
So did you investigate the deaths of Jaden Howard and Maurice Baker?
Yes, sir, I did.
And would you briefly describe how you investigated the incident on November 8th?
I was notified of the shooting. I responded from our detective's office to the scene at 213 Bentwood Drive. Upon my arrival, when I arrived, one of the children was already in the ambulance. The other one was had been removed from the bedroom to the living room where EMS and fire were currently working on them.
And what was the nature of their injuries?
Both of the victims had received gunshot wounds,
How many gunshot wounds?
one each.
And did then EMS transport them to Norton Children's Hospital?
Yes, sir, they did.
And is that where they passed away?
Yes, sir.
And the suspect in this case, later defendant, was Tiffanie Lucas, is that correct?
That's correct.
And was she tested for gunshot residue?
Yes, sir, she was.
And what was the result of the gunshot residue examination?
The examination, the testing was performed, of course, on the day of the incident. And it appears that, I'm looking for a date that I received it, but I've got the results set right here from the Kentucky State Police Central Lab. The examination requested was identification of gunshot residues. The results and conclusions, and I'll read them. Particles containing lead, antimony, and barium were found on the lifts from item 17, Tiffany Lucas. Such particles are characteristic of gunshot residue from a discharged firearm. Next paragraph, particles containing lead, barium, or lead, antimony were found on the lifts from item 17, Tiffany Lucas. Such particles are consistent with gunshot residue, but may also originate from other sources. Gunshot residue can be deposited on the hands by discharging a firearm.
Detective, is there any doubt in your mind that Tiffanie Lucas was the person who shot Jaden Howard and Maurice Baker?
There's no doubt at all.
No further questions.
Mr. Lonensack and Mr. Villavicencio.
Your Honor, we have no more questions for Detective Beahl.
Since we free to be excused.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. You're welcome to stay in the courtroom or leave the courthouse. Please, Commonwealth, call next.
I don't believe I see Mr. Donnelly, so I will proceed to call the victim at this point. I'd first like to call Regina Rowland.
Roland. Ma'am, would you please come forward to my right in the witness box over here?
Y'all, this poor grandmama,
Once you step up
gonna
on the
break
side
up
of the
her
witness
heart.
box, on the corner here. When you get up in the witness box, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony which you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes. Thank you, ma'am. Have a seat there in the black chair. Make yourself comfortable. Pull up to that microphone as close as you can, and please speak loudly for the question. Mr. Taylor.
Ms. Rowland, I understand you're very upset, so if you need some time to compose yourself, we'll allow it. Would you like to proceed?
I'm ready.
Ms. Rowland, you are Jaden's grandmother, is that correct?
Yes,
And would you like to address the court with your victim impact statement?
yes.
When you're ready, go ahead.
You know we love Jaden and Maurice. You know Jaden was the only thing we had left. And he took him from us. You know I had already lost his dad. And then my other son. And then you took Jaden. You have ripped our lives apart. And you know that you could have gave them kids to us and we would have took care of them. But you have been selfish. My heart is in pieces. And you know that you have always had a place to drop them off. You took him from me, and I hurt every day. Every second of the day, I hurt. And I hope they give you 2 life sentences without the possibility of parole. I want you to suffer just like I'm suffering right now. They did not deserve that. You took my little man from me. And we all love him so much, Jaden and Maurice. Oh, I remember the time he called me, Nana, and told me he loved me. And it took him forever to cuddle with me. But Jaden is our blood. Oh God, oh Lord, give me strength. You have hurt so many people, Tiffany. Jaden had cousins that loved him. Melody and Torn. Torn sleeps with a teddy bear and a picture of Jaden every night. don't have nothing else to say. She just knows she knows she done ripped us apart.
Mr. Taylor, any additional questions?
No other questions.
Any questions from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Is this witness free to be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, ma'am. You're welcome to have a seat back in the courtroom or leave the courthouse. Who does the Commonwealth call next?
Call Bobby Baker.
Ms. Baker, would you please go around the witness box, right up this way, around over here. Watch your step as you step up inside the witness box. When you're inside, just turn around, face me, and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony which you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a seat in that chair. Make yourself comfortable, but pull up to that microphone and speak loudly when questioned. Mr. Taylor?
Ms. Baker, what is your relationship to the victims in this case, the two little boys?
I'm an aunt.
Oh.
Maurice, but I consider myself Jaden's aunt as well.
I understand. Would you please read your impact statement for the court?
Tiffany, on November 8th, 2023, you changed the lives of two beautiful boys. You broke my brother's heart, my heart, and the heart of anyone who had encountered them. Jaden and Maurice didn't see you for who you really are. They loved you so much, but at the end of the day, you became what children their age fear the most, a monster. Not for 1 minute do I believe, like you said, you were in a hard spot. You had support in so many ways that you could have used. Like I often told you when we spoke, being a good mom is also making the decision that you can't give the boys the best life and allowing another parent to step in. But you refused to do so selfishly because it wouldn't align with what social media saw. Instead, you decided to play God and decide the boys' faith. I often see these court shows where the defendants are forgiven by the victim's family, but not today, not by me. I will never forgive you. I struggle and often wonder what else kind of pain did they endure at the hands of you before you ultimately took their life. Part of this statement I was gonna write, I hope every day you close your eyes that they haunt you, but I don't. You don't deserve to see them and they shouldn't see you. If he decides to give you any kind of leniency today and grant you parole at some point, bitch, I'll be there at every parole hearing. Do you hear me? I'll be there at every parole hearing.
Oh,
Yeah.
ma'am, ma'am.
I know the language, but she,
Ma'am, no
ooh,
question.
you go.
I have no further questions, Your
Any
Honor.
questions from the defense?
I wouldn't ask her anything.
Thank you. Mr.
I
Taylor,
bet
who does
she
the
will
Commonwealth
be
call
there
next?
too.
Naomi Crawford.
Bless her heart. Oh, bless her heart.
Ms. Crawford,
Okay.
would you please go around
I
and have
think-
the witness box and watch your step as you step inside. When you're inside the witness box, please turn around, face me, and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony which you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. Please have a seat in the chair. Pull up to that black microphone as closely as you can and speak loudly when questioned. Ms. Taylor, Mr. Taylor?
And Ms. Crawford, what's your relationship to the victims in this
I'm
case?
his aunt.
Maurice,
Yes.
and what would you like to tell the court?
I just want to tell the court and mainly Tiffany that you took away our chance to have a relationship with my nephew. When my brother calls me, I wonder how he's doing, and I answer the phone so quick, I hope he's okay. Because I remember how you broke him. So at 12:30 at night when he calls me, if I don't answer that phone, if I don't see that phone call, I'm in such agony because I wonder, is he okay? Do you need me? That's my answer to him. His son is gone. You can never bring him back. And there is nothing and no amount of time that this court could give you that is fair. Life expectancy is about 70 years. You took 60 from them. Anything less than 60 for both of them, for each of them, is not even enough.
No further
Any
questions.
questions from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, ma'am. She's free to be excused.
Yes, Your Honor.
You may either go back to your seat or leave the courtroom. Who would the
I
Commonwealth
agree.
call next?
Michelle Reddy.
Rayleigh?
Reddy.
Ray. Ms. Ray, would you please come up to the witness box where the other folks are seated? Watch your step as you step inside. You're up on the platform there. Turn around, face me, and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. You can have a seat there, make yourself comfortable, but pull up that black microphone and speak loudly when questioned. Mr. Taylor, whenever you are ready, you may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. For the record, her last name is Reddy, R-E-A-D-Y.
Or,
R-E-A-D-Y.
Ray, okay, thank
Ready, like
Ready.
ready to go.
you. Ready? Thank you.
And Ms. Reddy, what's your relationship to the victims?
Aunt,
And which young man?
Maurice.
What would you like to tell the court?
Actually, I wrote something out that I would like to read.
Sure.
My heart's racing. First, I would like to say thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak. Second, I would like to say it was really hard to even gather the words or just sit down and write. I couldn't even write it. I had to, literally was driving in my car, which is bad, it's a distraction, and talk, text it. And first, like I said, I would like to thank you, Judge, for allowing us the opportunity to express what words simply just could not describe. This last year has been an emotional roller coaster for my whole family and for the community. Most of all, my brother. I simply can't fathom what he must think or how he must feel waking up every day, trying to put the pieces of your life back together after suffering such a loss and a tragedy. It's difficult to even mouth the words that my nephew was killed, that he was murdered. He was murdered by someone that was supposed to be a protector, to love him unconditionally. Personally, I've suffered from anxiety just last year with just the thoughts of what they went through leading up to that. I don't believe that this was an isolated incident where they were being, that there weren't other things going on that they were dealing with. Again, I suffered anxiety with just the thoughts of what he must have felt, the things he may have experienced leading up to the death, if only walls could talk. As I mentioned, I'm being treated for anxiety. I'm seeing a therapist. It's difficult to close my eyes at night. I didn't get much sleep last night. Some days I've had trouble getting out of bed just to process it all. No one, and I mean no one, deserves to go through this. No matter what the motive or the reason. You had options. You had options you chose not to take. There were resources. There were resources you chose not to take. Regardless if it was drugs, regardless if you were dealing with depression, people deal with it every day. It was a choice you made not to get help. There was family you chose not to contact. I reached out to you on Facebook at one point. So even if you didn't have my number, I offered actually anytime because I already knew whatever the relationship, you wasn't gonna let anyone see them. But you had that option. You bypassed every option you had and instead you decided to be selfish and take their lives. Those were things you dealt with and you chose not to get help. And I ended my thoughts there.
Questions?
No further questions.
Your questions? Is she free to be excused?
Yes, Judge.
Thank you, ma'am. You may consent to proceed or leave the courtroom. Who is the Commonwealth call next?
Samaya Jones.
You know, doesn't it make it even worse? It makes it so much worse knowing that family was reaching out and asking for those boys, or could they help her? And free will, Tiffany, free will. And that's how you used your free will choices. And this little lady right here, she's really gonna break your heart, y'all.
As you step up, when you're inside the witness box, please place me and raise your right hand. I swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Thank you, ma'am. Have a seat in the chair, but make yourself comfortable. Pull up to that black microphone as closely as you can and speak loudly when questioned. Mr. Taylor?
Ms. Jones, what's your relationship to the two young men that were murdered
Cousin,
and to both of them? And what would you like to tell the board?
the selfish act that Tiffany committed on the morning of November 8th, 2023 has caused everyone, I feel like, especially my cousin, like, I can't like really speak right now because it's so hard to process everything that's been going on.
Take your time.
Especially like with me dealing with other problems, it's just like everything's just so hard to process right now. I'm shaking trying to talk, especially like just sitting here in front of her, seeing her. It's hard, and waking up like every morning and realizing what's really happening, that it's true, and that there's no bringing them back is really hard to deal with.
Is there anything else you'd like to say to the board?
I just wanted to ask Tiffany, did you ever love your voice? Did you ever like, how long have you been playing this? Because I don't really think that you'll be able to do this to somebody that you love. Especially with you being a mama. You're not supposed to do this to your own kids. I don't have to give myself, but I know this. You're supposed to protect them and protect them. Instead, you hurt them. And you took the precious thing. It's been hard. It's been hard for me to focus in school and everything else because it's like a hundred questions racing through my mind every day. Like I had so much stuff that I wanted to say, but now that I'm right here, I can't actually say it because it's just so much going on in my head at once.
Would you like to say anything else?
Any questions? Any questions from the defendant?
No.
Is she free to be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
On that.
Feel free to answer that.
Thank you, ma'am. Please, the Commonwealth opponent.
Nikki Gregory.
Ms. Gregory, would you please come around to the witness box? Once you said that you step up.
One of
inside the
these
witness box,
Boys
you
has a stepmama or a bonus mama.
raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Have a seat. Make yourself comfortable in the chair. Pull up to the microphone as close as they can. Speak loudly in your question. Mr. Taylor?
Ms. Gregory, what's your relationship to the two young boys?
Sorry, can you just, hard to look at her right now. I was Jaden Howard's stepmom.
Ma'am, I can't hear you.
I was Jaden Howard's stepmother.
And what would you like to tell the board?
Okay. I have been in Jaden's life since he was 6 months old. While I'm thankful for the time I had with him, it was too short. My daughter, Charlie Howard, is 4 years old, and she has already lost her father, and he took her only brother. Both very tragic. Now I have to explain what happened to him by the hands of his own mother. I enjoyed dropping him off and picking him up from school. I enjoyed playing his favorite songs on the way home. I would cherish our family vacations at the beach. He was so scared of the ocean waves that all he wanted to do was go to the pool. And he swam so much that he would be asleep before the sun went down. I will miss his smile and his laugh. While I was pregnant, Jaden was very protective and loving of my stomach. He would rub and kiss it. He enjoyed being a big brother to little Reese, but now he was going to be a big brother to a little girl. My daughter will not be able to share any family vacation experiences. She will never be able to call him to tell him to come over and play with her. Now all she has are pictures and a dinosaur stuffed animal he used to sleep with. And now the pictures are going further and further back on my phone. Throughout the years, both sides of the family tried to help you with your drug addiction and your poor choices. Countless times. You have been neglecting them, and both sides try to put those kids in a better place. You want to play the crazy card, you want to act like you couldn't handle life. Them boys had the support and love they needed. They didn't need you. What you did was evil, selfish, and hateful. There isn't anything the judge can sentence you to make this easier. The boys were innocent, and I wish you were facing the death penalty. You don't deserve to breathe the same air as us. I wish they would bury you under the jail cell. You don't deserve a tombstone. You don't deserve to be remembered. But since that isn't an option, I hope the judge takes your freedom and never, ever gives it back. I hope he doesn't fail the boys like the system has this far. We wouldn't.
Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Any questions from the defense?
No, no.
Ma'am, you're free to leave the spot. You can remain in the courtroom. You're not leaving the courtroom. If it's a Commonwealth call now.
Commonwealth calls Brian Donnelly.
Mr. Donnelly, will you please come forward, sir?
Okay, so this one I'm going to skip and we'll speed up. This is just about sentencing, and yeah, it doesn't really matter. I think the defense closing arguments, yeah, no. I may do those in a different one. I don't want to do them in here. Now, there's an interesting thing that happens, and that is someone comes in a little late. And he, even if I'm not mistaken, I believe he stood up while the defense was speaking and asked for permission to speak. So he would be, I believe, Jaden's father, I believe. So here we go.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes, sir. Thank you. Have a seat in the chair. Make yourself comfortable. Pull up to that microphone. Mr. Taylor, do you wish to question?
State your name for the record, please.
Maurice Beck.
And what is your relationship to the young man who was murdered, Maurice?
This is my son.
And would you like to tell the court?
Oh,
how
Maurice's
this
son. So
It affects me
Jaden's,
in so many
I'm
ways,
sorry.
kind of hard for me to explain. Especially due to the fact, ever since my son was born, I begged Tiffany for my son on so many different occasions because of drug use, the prostitution that she did, and the other way she had him in a harmful situation. I didn't just lose Maurice November the 8th. I lost my son really the day he was born because ever since he was born, she held my son over my head. I begged her so many times to keep him out of harmful situations. I cursed her. I threatened her. I did a lot. But only on behalf of my son. I begged her. She knew it. It's simple drug abuse. It's manipulation. I called around. There's not nobody in this courtroom I haven't called and talked from my family to her family that haven't heard about me asking for my son. They wondering what was going on with him. She kept him from me for a year straight. So many birthdays he missed. I have a party planned. She never let me come. I begged her. The last message, the last time I texted her, I asked her, please, can I just talk to my son? She ignored me. I reached every day I reached out to her that I couldn't see my son. I'm asking that the court give her the maximum punishment. I'll never see my son again. Jaden's family never see them again. Anything less than the maximum punishment for her doing this to them will be unjust. They don't have a second chance. She chose to take drugs, put them in that situation. There was people begging for those kids, not just me as a father. It's aunties, cousins, her family members. Of course she had a breakdown. Methamphetamine does that. Opiates does that. You took the choice to do those drugs. I've been in prison before. I took in for the consequences. Choices I made, I suffer consequences. She needs consequences. She's always been able to manipulate. I want the judge to see her for what she is. She's a monster.
I got phone records and I have a phone with me begging her to see my son. It wasn't a time that she couldn't have dropped my son off and gave him to me. She could have called me. I don't want her to be able to manipulate once again. You know what you are. I'm pretty sure if it's phone conversation for the jail, they know what you are. You chose to prostitute. You chose to do drugs. You hallucinated and killed them boys for no reason. Those 2 good kids. You don't deserve public defenders. You don't deserve sheriffs around you. That's all I got to say.
Any questions, Mr. Taylor? Any questions from the defense? Hold on, sir.
Uh-oh, this.
Mr. Baker? Mr. Baker,
Don't push the button. There.
I am truly sorry for your loss, and I hope you know that I mean that. I do need to ask some follow-up questions about some things that you just testified to.
Yeah.
As part of this case, we received discovery from the Commonwealth. They took the contents of Tiffany's phone, in which there were text messages and screenshots of text messages. You testified that you had previously threatened Tiffany, correct?
Yep.
Do you recall sending the following text message? Bitch, I'm gonna kill your son, fuck you. You think shit's a game like you forgot who I am. I'm Reese, bitch, and if you think I was fucked up to you before, just imagine what I'm gonna do now since I can't see my son. I'm rich, you broke-ass loser bitch. You will never see your kids again.
No.
No further questions, Your Honor.
I have, Tiffany has a good way to manipulate. You being a lawyer, I can see you
Your Honor.
sending the text.
Hold on.
message.
Hold on 1 second. Yes, sir.
I believe that's outside the scope of questions.
Mr. Taylor, any questions?
No questions.
Mr. Baker, thank you very much, sir. If you would, please have a seat back in the courtroom when you were seated. Just walk in front of the podium here and right on this side, over here. Thank you.
Wow.
All right, does the defense wish to call any witnesses in response to that testimony?
No, Your Honor.
All right, is there anything else in closing then from the defense?
Nothing further.
Commonwealth's closing, Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Okay, so hold up just a minute.
Second, proceed, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, we were discussing Tiffany's evaluation by Dr. Philip Resnick on November 16th, just 8 days after the shooting while she was still experiencing her psychotic disorder. Dr. Resnick went on to conduct interviews with family members, review extensive materials, including the materials provided in the investigation by Detective Beahl, records, reports throughout the length of the case before reaching an ultimate opinion.
Oh, wait. Okay, so I'm trying to get this to not be too awful long, but this portion of the defense, I've never quite heard so many vocal people in a courtroom. And I have to say that I feel that they could have been much louder than they were. I feel the judge gave a little bit of leniency, but also you have to respect the court and so understand. But I couldn't help myself. Have to share this portion.
On November 8th, 2023, Tiffanie Lucas shot and killed her 2 sons, Jaden Howard and Maurice Baker Jr., while she was in the throes of a psychotic disorder that had been going on for days. Throughout the course of this case, we investigated and interviewed dozens of witnesses, and we certainly don't deny the victims in this case their perspective, their grief. But in the dozens of witnesses we conducted, we spoke with friends and family members, neighbors. We spoke to strangers who only ever saw Tiffany in her worst moments, in the throes of mental illness. And the refrain that we heard over and over again is that Tiffanie Lucas was a devoted mother who showed her love for her children.
Folks, this is a court of law. Outbursts will not be tolerated. Now, if you cannot maintain your composure while the other side presents their argument, I'm going to ask you to leave now. I don't want to hold anybody in contempt. That's not what needs to happen at this point. But I cannot allow you to continue your outbursts in the courtroom. So if you need to leave, now is your opportunity to leave. Keep in mind, any further outbursts can be and will be treated as contempt. Go ahead, Mr. Walzak.
Yeah, I just, who can blame them? I went to a funeral once for somebody that actually hated their daughter, tried to basically get everybody in the family to dislike her too. Wanted her brother to turn against her. Daughter didn't defend herself. But she suffered her entire life. She wanted a mother that loved her. She wanted a mother that loved her grandchildren. That's not what she got. But I sat in this funeral home, and when somebody said, if you knew Nell, then you know she loved her family more than anything. You wanted to scream, well, you didn't know her very well, did you? But, you know, you can't do that in a funeral, can you? These loving family members sitting here, no matter whether these boys were blood related or not, because they were brothers and entwined in that manner, these families were entwined and would have taken both children. Any one of those people. It just makes no sense. All right, let's get to the judgment. Hold on. All right. So this should be the judge now. I think.
There have been references made by the defense to the defendant's association with God while she was acting. This is not a question of violation of the laws of God or any religious belief. This is a question of violations of the laws of this Commonwealth, particularly statutory murder, which provides for a violation when someone with the intent to cause the death of another person causes the death of that person. Ms. Lucas, to her credit, has come before the court and has admitted to her conduct. She has entered a plea of guilty to 2 counts of murder that involves the intentional taking of a life. Now, the court has considered mitigating conditions, aggravating circumstances as argued by the parties. The court has considered the contents of the file as well as recent filings that detail the defendant's position. The court will note that the defendant's act of killing were intentional and resulted in multiple deaths, in particular 2 children under 12 years of age. The law of this Commonwealth is clear. The statutory penalty for each of these counts is 20 to 50 years or life imprisonment. Mr. Donnelly has testified as to parole eligibility. Now, what I will say is this. Kentucky's method of incarceration for felony offenses is what's referred to as indeterminate sentencing. It can be somewhat difficult to follow if you don't deal with it every day. But ultimately, the court has to assume that the components of the judicial system, which includes the executive branch's parole board, will be followed to the law. So the duties and responsibilities of that board and what they do are to be determined by that board. This court has to assume they will do what is just and appropriate. What I have struggled with through this hearing today is a mother is more than the giving of life. It is providing food, clothing, shelter, but more importantly, love and security. I cannot imagine the sheer horror these children must have experienced seeing their mother with a gun. The sheer horror that second child had as he heard the discharge of that weapon for the first child. And maybe even both of them seeing their mother pull the trigger, taking their life. At this time, the court will state for the record, the court has considered the probation pre-sentence report, arguments of counsel, the contents of the file, and no sufficient reason having been shown by judgment not be pronounced and sentence imposed. In case number 23 CR 404, Commonwealth of Kentucky versus Tiffanie Lucas, as to count 1, the court will adjudge the defendant guilty of the offense of murder and fix her sentence at life in prison. On count 2, the court will adjudge the defendant guilty of the offense of murder and fix her sentence at life in prison. This time, the court will order that the Sheriff's Department deliver the defendant to the custody of the Corrections Cabinet for service of her sentence of imprisonment. That's all for today. Court will be adjourned.
So, two life sentences. Awesome, awesome decision, Judge. I'm hoping that they don't both serve the same, that. But either way you go, if ever she comes up for parole in your lifetime, you can write in a letter. These children, as the judge said, excuse me, as the judge said, I can't imagine them looking, hearing them, seeing your mother with a gun. And then she's, killing you, brother? What a nightmare. What an absolute nightmare. So, the judge got it right. And I'm glad that the people in the family at least have that. Nothing will take the pain. We know that Morris and Jaden are well looked after and well loved now. God's got them in his hands. My heart breaks for the families. Truly, truly does. And Tiffany, pardon me. So, trying to not cough or sneeze. I just wanted to share that case. There is arguing on the defense and statements on the, obviously on the prosecution side, but we're not going to play the woe is me drug card. There's too much help out there. And if your client was in a psychosis because of drugs or because of trying to quit, as you said, bottom line remains, it's still her decision that put her there, isn't it? No excuse. So, I hope everybody has a good evening. Say a prayer for these families. Till next time, choose to be a nice human. Good night.